Hey everybody, this is Herc Magnus. Welcome to this week's edition of the PSv3 training webinars. Unfortunately, Todd had to be out of town today, so he's not going to be with us. But instead of having Todd on today, we actually have Terry Samuels on today. And Terry runs big SEO agency out of Phoenix. He's not a big personality out there. He's not really into marketing himself personally, like how we do and stuff like that, but he knows his shit. He's extremely successful. He's too busy running a successful business to really be out there with like a lot of the other stuff that we do, but he's great at Schema. So we have him on today. He's going to teach you guys, we're going to do a lot of Q&A, so you guys will be able to ask a lot of questions to Terry about really anything in SEO as well, but also Schema and stuff like that. So Terry, just come on and say hello. Let's get a quick mic check, make sure everyone can hear you.
Hello everybody, it's me, Terry.
Can you guys hear him okay? Just give me a 1 if you can hear, if you heard Terry all right.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, great. Hey, Bob. How's it going? Hey, Kath. Hey, James. All right, guys. The first thing we're going to start with today is just a couple of the updates that were pushed since our last webinar. Nothing major. Once again, more design over functionality changes. Mainly the one thing is in the project management. We changed our look of our on-page SEO elements to be more parallel to what you see in the PS SEO box. So when you're designing your title, your URL, and your description, before we just had 4 blue boxes and you just type things in. But now what we're doing is we're making it look more like the actual entry is going to look like on Google. So you get that same sort of PS SEO functionality where you're getting a live preview. So anything that you want to change, once again, you just click into it, make the changes that you want to change, hit save. And it will save here as well as on the page or post that it is attached to, provided it is attached to a page or a post. The other thing that we added is the title length and description length, supporting both desktop and mobile devices inside of the PS or inside of the project planner. So you guys can see when you're doing your on-page optimization for these things, you can see how long your titles and your descriptions are there. So nothing really major, just a design change just to make it look prettier. The other thing we added, this one is a little bit for function. I'm not even sure if I covered this last webinar, if it was out or not, but we added tabs, okay, to each of the boxes. So if I collapse everything, you can see that now there's new tabs. And those are for whether this is a page or a post. Okay, so you can see each one of these. You can see a couple pages, you can see a couple posts. Just so you know what you're working on, it's just helpful. And then also, if you want to, it's better to show on this one on the site audit. If you want to filter, okay, if you only want to look at what you have for posts and do your optimization for your posts, you can filter by posts now. And it will only bring up the projects, or sorry, the groups for all your posts versus if you want to do pages, you can do pages. I know we are showing like projects and it will show custom post types, but we're not really sure how we want to handle that yet. So for now, it's just going to be posts and pages that are really supported and used. If I go to projects, you know, you won't see anything, but we'll figure that out as we go. And then I guess the last thing that I want to show you guys is kind of the reverse audit. The reverse SEO audit for all those people who are kind of, you know, using the project planner. Typically when I'm teaching it, how I'm teaching it is how to use the project planner for new content and new pages and new posts, how to plan those out, how to, you know, do the keyword research and stuff like that. But a lot of people don't know that you can actually still use the project planner for a reverse SEO audit, meaning if you have a website that you want to see everything on the single dashboard, okay, how do all my pages and posts look as an optimized thing? What you can do is create a site audit, and I'll just do it again quickly. I already have one there, and I'll just remove it. And then we'll just do another one. So let me show you guys if you're working with existing clients or you're working with an existing site and you want to import all your pages and posts into the project planner so you can either look at how things are or edit things. What you do, okay, is you're going to create a new project, okay, and I just have been calling them site audits, okay, you can call it whatever you want. And then when you're gonna load that site audit, okay, and then what you're gonna do is go over to actions, and you're gonna create groups from existing pages and posts, okay? And this window has kind of been redesigned as well. So what you're gonna do, I'll just shoot it to 100 entries. And I'll tell you right now, if I scroll down to the bottom, you can see I have a total of 598 results. This site doesn't have 598 posted pages. It only has like 40, okay? The reason it's showing 598 is it's picking up all that custom post types and tags and categories and shit like that. So you're gonna want to be careful when you import stuff. The way I do it is I filter by post type. Remember, we're only supporting posts and pages right now. So if I want to import all my posts, I would select posts, then I would check all the posts, okay? And then I would create groups from the selected items, which is 7, okay? And there it brings them in, okay? The next thing I want to do is do it again, but this time I'm going to do it for pages, okay? So let's unselect everything here, and we'll go to pages, okay? And there's all our pages, so I'm going to select all the pages this time, okay? And I can take out the shit that I don't need, like terms of service, and I think there was like a contact page or something. Take out the stuff that's obviously not important. You don't really need to do that. But I see 29 entries selected, so now I'm going to create groups from those. Now what I have, guys, is the project plan for everything. If I go back to all types here, I was filtered there. If I go back to all types, there's everything that this site has, right? So if I want to look at the SEO, I can just click on the Actions tab, and I can expand all, okay? And now this is showing me for each page and post what my title, URL, and description is for each one of them. Now, if I want to edit those or update anything, I can. If I want to add keywords to them and then start doing keyword research and shit, I can. But this is at least a quick look at where you're at optimization-wise for everything on your site. And then once again, the new filters obviously are going to make it easier to determine, you know, what your pages are, or what your posts are. And then I'll just collapse everything here so you can see. There we go. It's kind of the same thing that I just had before. So that's just a quick way for you guys to use the project planner to do a reverse SEO audit on that. So the only other thing, what we're working on next, and this should be done by the end of the week, is support for inside of the dashboard. So if we go to our websites right now, okay, and we go into the management of any of the websites, okay, these are the tabs that we have, okay, themes, plugins, post pages, reviews, schemas, and settings. As far as comments though, WordPress comments, which a lot of people do utilize commenting on their blogs, all we really have is on the dashboard, and it's really more to approve them or disapprove them, okay? And then we also have the spam comments, the stuff that WordPress auto filters as spam. Falls into the optimization box, but any comments that aren't caught by the spam trap go into the comments box for moderation, approve or disapprove. But that's not really good enough functionality wise. So what is coming, if I can make this a little bigger, okay, is this box right here. We're adding a comments tab where you're going to be able to import all your comments into your website management. And then you'll be able to do everything that you do inside of WordPress on comments, but you'll be able to do it from inside your dashboard, including replying to comments. Okay, that's this guy over here. So that's coming by the end of the week. Hopefully we'll have the comment functionality built in as well. So those are the updates for what we have and what's coming. Remember to update your plugins, guys, always, because we're always putting new stuff out there. And then for the rest of the webinar, what I'm going to just do, guys, is open it up to question and answer. Remember that Terry Samuel is on here. So I will just ask, if you do have a question specifically for Terry, please write Terry on it, and then we know that you're asking for him to answer that question. And before I get started, Terry, is there anything that you want to cover at all, or do you want to just go right into Q&A?
No, let's just go right into it. So, and I don't know if I'm supposed to be able to see the chat, but I can't see it. I don't know if there's a setting, but just let me know when something's coming.
Okay, if you go to your your go-to webinar, like that little orange arrow that pulls it in and out, you'll see the big dashboard, and one of them is called questions.
Oh, there it is. You got it.
Pop it out, and then you'll see everybody.
Got it.
Okay. And Natalie thinks your volume's a little low. Turn up your speakers, Nat, or put on headphones. Okay, Sylvie, so if you do the reverse SEO project planner on an already existing site, is there a way to see if the site has schema if it was not added with PSv3? Okay, the project planner reverse SEO will have nothing really to do with schema at all. It won't tell you if there's schema on the page or not. It's specifically for on-page optimization and keyword research. But if you want to know if the schema was added with V3 or not, just run the URL in the structured data testing tool. Okay, and I've shown this on a couple of other webinars as well, but I'll show it again. Let me grab a URL. Let's go to this one. Actually, let me go to my pages. So what you do is go to Google Structured Data Testing Tool. And really what you're looking for is two things: JSON LD type schema, because we don't run with microdata format, we only use JSON LD. And then we also comment our schema, meaning if we put schema on a page, we will comment, HTML comment that schema so that you know where it's coming from. Okay, so for instance, if I run this URL through schema testing tool, hopefully it will, one, come through error free, and two, I'll be able to show you the comments so that you'll be able to do this same process for other sites. Okay, so there's our article schema. Okay, so what I'll do is just open it and click on type, and it will highlight on the left where the schema entry is, and there's the comment. Okay, can you see that, Sylvie? Hopefully. We always open and close our schema with comments. Okay, so this entire section that I have highlighted is schema written by Project Supremacy. Okay, and then you can see obviously down here, this is made a description written by Project Supremacy, and then this is Open Graph written by Project Supremacy. This is Facebook pixel code written by Project Supremacy, etc., etc. But that's a good, easy way to check if schema's there. Bob, remind them where Webbies are. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. By the way, good call. Just so you guys know, all webinars and replays for weekly trainings is going to be on this link, and I'll put that in your chat box for you right now. Okay, there you go, guys. Webinars, just scroll down. Here's all the webinar replays. Okay, the weekly webinars, and then the search function. If you want to use the search function, just come in here, type the topic that you're looking for an answer to, or like schema, or I don't know, PBN, or whatever it is that you want to look for. Just put your keyword in there, and it'll tell you where it's found. So that search function is kind of new as well. Well, what's the best way to submit tech support issues? You have a couple through the chat box in your, this little guy right here. This goes straight to support. Rick, if you use the reverse audit on a large website where the articles may not have been well optimized for keywords, what keywords will it pull into the planner? On a reverse audit, it won't pull in keywords because you haven't specified. I mean, there's no keywords really there on a reverse audit. All you're doing on a reverse audit is looking at the title, URL, description, and H1, right? So for instance, if I'm looking at one of these pages, like for instance, let's go with how to buy Ripple, right? I'll be able to see what my title and my description are, but there's no keywords. If I open up the keywords box, okay, there's no keywords because all it did was pull in the page's optimization elements. But now that I know that if I'm doing a reverse audit of a certain person's site, I know where my search is going to begin for keywords, right? How to buy Ripple, right? So I can start doing do a keyword research phase where I can use either start a new project in the project planner. Okay, so if I go back to projects, I can create a new project for keyword research for how to buy Ripple. So for instance, what I would do, create a new project, and I call it KWR for keyword research, how to buy Ripple. Okay, and all I'm trying to do here is find some keywords that I'm eventually going to target with that particular page, right? So then I would load it, okay, and I would import groups from the keyword planner, sorry, automatically generate groups, and I could do how to buy Ripple, and I'm only looking for a maximum of, like, say 100 keywords. I don't care about the minimum cost per click, but I would at least like to have, you know, say 200 searches per month, maybe $1 cost per click or something, whatever your filters are, right? Then I'm using this method of keyword research to find the keywords that I want to target for that particular group, right? And then things like the keyword cloud, I can use the keyword cloud as well. That's always, you know, Ripple, where to buy Ripple, 33,000 searches a month, you know, that would obviously be a keyword that I would want to put in that group. So I can either now create a group, move it over there. So for instance, let's just do this really quickly. Let's just say I love this whole group, okay? What I would do is be like Ripple keywords. Okay, I'll save that group as Ripple keywords. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move the group, okay, to a different project. I'm gonna move it into my site audit, right? And remember, just remember what everything's called, Ripple keywords. So then I'm gonna go back to my projects. I'm gonna go back to my site audit group now, right? And there's my Ripple keywords. And then my other post that I'm worried about is, let's look it up. Where was it? Let's just do a Control F for Ripple. Okay, there it is, how to buy Ripple. Now what I can do is if I hold down the Control key and tap on these 6 little dots, it starts highlighting keywords, right? And now I can drag that whole group of keywords over to that particular group, right? And now I can delete this one because it's now empty, right? Delete group, doesn't matter anymore. That was a research group. So now I can try to target these keywords in that group. Does that make sense, Rick? And then I can obviously do things like this, get the metrics. Okay, awesome. Bridget, where did you say to go to Google? Not sure what that was in reference to. For Schema, oh, the Google. So for Schema, it's I just Googled the structured data testing tool, but I'll put the link in here for you if you want. Okay, here you go, guys. Anytime you want to do. Wait, is that the right one? Yeah, it is. There you go. Any questions? That's it? That's all the questions? 20-minute webinar? Take advantage too, guys, of Terry while he's here, if you have schema questions and shit like that.
Hello, hello, hello.
Okay, yeah, just type those in, Rick. We'll be waiting for the questions to come in. Nat, you got questions? You know what? Any schema question, Terry, I'm just going to let you answer it. So Rich is asking, how often do you update your schema?
How often do I update the schema? Was that the question?
Yeah.
I actually don't. Once I get the schema, well, I take that back. You know, unless I add a video or something that it's going to change the schema layout that I've made, then I'll update the schema. But otherwise, I just leave it alone. I don't necessarily need to go and update it every time I do the page, unless I'm going to change title or description and stuff like that. But the schema, I typically will leave alone.
Schema for an HTML site. What's the best way?
Yeah, basically don't do an HTML site, but that's okay. I mean, you can do schema. You can definitely do the injector. I think yeah, Herc's getting ready to show you, but yeah, you would just load it up into your header code of each page that you want schema on. Same
So
way.
Troy, yeah, Troy, do you have V3? Because if you have V3, the best way to put schema into an HTML site obviously is use the V3 builder to build the schema. Okay, so like for instance, I'm loading up this article schema for Canadian Bitcoin exchanges, which is actually real schema that I built for a real page. So if you guys want to duplicate that URL for a good article schema, you can. But once you have the schema built, just click on this render schema button and there's the schema code, right? So this script, all you have to do is copy and paste it into your header code of your HTML site.
Exactly.
Yeah, and the nice thing about this too is for HTML, if you guys are using V3, I know that like say if you're only managing 20 sites or whatever, you can build the schema and inject it easily with V3, but that doesn't at all mean that you're limited to the amount of schema that you can build for like other property types like HTML or Wix or literally or any other type of website that you want to put JavaScript schema into. Just build it and then click the render button, and this is the code that you need. So it codes it all out for you perfectly, and then you can just copy and paste it. It's really, really fast. Terry, what do you recommend doing schema-wise for category pages?
It depends on what the category is. If it's a product, I would definitely use a product schema. If it's a topic, you can do a topic schema. I actually personally redirect my category pages to static pages within the website. So I've already got schema on my static pages. So, but if you're going to use category pages, you can definitely do topic. You can do product, depending on what the category is.
The only other comment I have about that as well is typically with category pages on blogs, where it's like you go to a category and it's, you know, it lists all the posts. We don't really can't think of at least a way to inject a schema into that type of page, because it's like a WordPress generated page, the category page. It's not something you can really control unless you actually make the category page a real page and then supply shortcodes for all the posts, and then it's actually a page. But as far as like it just being the parent category, or say you have a page with a parent page, unless there's a page there or a post there, you can't really control that in schema unless you know how to edit the PHP files, which is a lot more advanced for most WordPress users.
Exactly. Oh. Yeah, that's what we do. We redirect our category pages, and then with short codes insert the post within those pages.
Yeah, it's a nice safe way to do it. Nat, so you're picking up tons of new clients. Congrats on that, first of all, and you're building from fresh on each. What is the best money site themes to use? They have to look good, but need Aveda. Who's that?
That's JC. Just showed up.
Hey, JC.
Hey.
Sylvia asks, is there any data on how schema makes a difference in the site's rankings to help sell the service?
Well, first of all, you need to understand what schema is. Schema is designed solely just so the search engines know what the page is. The public doesn't necessarily see schema unless you have it outside in the public areas. But typically, the way that I approach schema is each page is on its own. So when I look at a page, and depending on what that page is what kind of schema goes onto that page. So one of the things that I loved about PSv2, and now P3 is getting even better at it, is the default schema, because you can put your general schema, whether it be for a roofing company, on every single page, and then go into each page individually and adjust that schema according to what that page's content is about. So it's just a faster way to do it. But schema is typically to let the search engines know what this page is about, and who's the audience designed to see it. So You know, you can, that's why I tell people have a different title and description than you have on your meta tags than you do in your schema. It's another opportunity to tell what the page is about. So, but again, schema is not going to, minus aggregate ratings, which I think is the best thing on the planet. Schema is not going to really have an effect on the public clicking and seeing what the schema is about. But it will help your rankings. I will tell you that. Good schema will help your rankings if Google and all, well, Google's the only one that really uses it now. But if Google better understands what your page is about, it will increase your rankings.
Another way to answer that too, Sylvie, because I know a client, like it's hard to sell something like schema to a client because you're probably going to try and explain what it is, right? But here's an analogy. When a person goes to a hardware store to buy a drill, what are they actually buying? Does anybody know the answer to this one? It's kind of one of those business trick questions. Exactly, Bob's got it. They're not buying a drill, they're buying a hole, right? They're not buying, what they need from the drill is a hole. So if you try to sell a drill based on its features and its RPM and its torque and shit like that, you wouldn't have as much luck as if you demonstrated how good of holes this drill can drill. Because what is the use of a drill? It's a hole. So if you apply that same level of thinking to schema, what is the point of schema? Like, you don't need to explain to someone what schema is, but you need to show them what the point of it is. Okay, and that's something like this. You could say, look, when someone's searching for a keyword or business, okay, and you can come up like this, okay, see these stars? This is a result of schema. This is really what you need to be showing to the client. And you could say, you know, look, without explaining, like, you don't have to know how an engine works to drive a car, right? And you don't know how schema works to get this, the client doesn't have to know how schema works to get the result. All they care about is what it's going to do for them. So I would open with something more like this. Do you want star ratings in Google? Do you want rich snippets in Google? So like that other one that we did for a couple webinars back, this little box right here, okay, rich snippets. Say if you want items like this for your business to show up when people are searching for your business keywords, we need to look at schema, and that's probably a lot better of a way to sell schema, Sylvie, to clients rather than trying to explain what it is.
Exactly, and that's one of the things. It is a huge selling point. So, and I've shown, I have a post that I did that I need to refresh, but I showed a post that I have a keyword it bounces between 6 and 8 for this individual or for the specific system, specific keyword. But I'm the only one on the page with aggregate ratings. And I get calls from that page and I ask them, you know, hey, how'd you find us? And I've had people specifically tell me that I'm the only one with stars is the reason they clicked on my results. So, and you need to also understand that those aren't Google reviews. So, PS, Project Supremacy, is one of the best tools on the market for creating aggregate ratings. And we've seen things update in as quick as about 45 minutes when did we get a new review on our site. So again, these aren't Google reviews. These are reviews that come from the Project Supremacy plugin system. And it's golden. There's no better one out there.
The other thing in a long path to rankings, guys, adding schema does help your rankings, but the other thing that also helps your rankings is kind of what Terry's saying. When, you know, say someone's looking for this keyword, investing in Bitcoin, look at this, 135,000 searches a month, okay, and they're scrolling through the listings, and this is the only one with star ratings. This is going to raise the fact that I just have star ratings alone, especially since they're good star ratings, not like a shitty rating like 1 out of 5, but it's actually got a 4.7 out of 5. This is going to increase the click-through rate of this position. Even though it's in position 9, over time, this will get clicked on more and more and more. And as it moves up, especially if it gets into the first position, it'll always increase the amount of click-throughs that it should get in its position, which is going to help you move up. So it's kind of a more longer term situation, but CTR is also a ranking factor, and having the best classified ad on Google's front page with stars is going to help you get a higher CTR as well. Rick, we mainly use pages. What is the benefit of using posts and or pages? For me, the way I like to look at it is like this. web page, blog, post. And it's as simple as that for me, Rick. When I'm building a website, I build web pages. When I'm building a blog, I do blog posts. But I mean, there's all kinds of like crazy things you can do with posts that, like, you know, putting your changing your tag permalink so that you can get different URL structures and shit like that. But primarily, I'm using pages to build a website, and I'm using posts to build a blog. Nat, Aveda is 60 per site, and yes, each team. I only paid for Aveda once, and I use it on like 10 sites.
We actually pay for each one. We've done almost close to 300 Aveda sites.
That's crazy too, because I mean, I even use the same license key from my original purchase on all these other sites, and we've never ran into an issue. I don't know why that is. I don't know if one day they're going to come at me and be like, whoa, 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 you know, like, don't suck.
Yeah, I don't think they'll ever figure it out if it's a third-party system.
I don't know. Troy, why static? I don't know what that was in reference to anymore. What did we say about static? Don't remember. You might have to re-ask that question, Troy. Rick, my pages usually have an article, a video, maybe a Google map, and an audio podcast. Would you use every schema available for each page, product or service schema? It takes a really long time to do schema for a website if we try to be so detailed. You can answer that one, Terry. I have my answer, but I'll let you answer schema questions.
I'm sorry, I was actually just readjusting my speaker here. What was that? Say that again.
So Rick said on his site, his pages usually have an article, a video, a Google map, and then an audio podcast. But he has it across a lot of pages. Would you typically mark up each one of those items on every page? For him, it takes him a lot of time, but is it worth it?
In the research that we've done, Google's only going to register 3 schemas. So if you put more than that, you're risking on which schema gets shown compared to which one's not. We obviously would do whatever that page is about. So whether it be a, local page or, a page that's an article, one of the biggest schemas, don't waste your time with a schema that's website or web page, because that's a little obvious. So you want to use something that's going to benefit that page. Video is hit or miss. We've tested both, and we've come to the conclusion that video is kind of a wasted schema. But if we don't have a lot on that page, we'll go ahead and put it in there as well, obviously, if we have a video. Podcasts are great. Anything that can do with that type of system. We don't do very much of it, but the ones that we have seen work out well. So, and so you just want to make sure that if whatever components are on that page, if you can take advantage of it through schema, up to 3, then you should do it. So do I think it's worth it? I love schema. I think schema is one of the best things that's come out in the past few months, and mainly because it gives me more opportunity to tell the same thing and not be spammed or have some kind of funky thing Google will do in an update affect that page. So, I think of it this way: it gives me twice as much opportunity to tell Google what my page is about, because they're going to be able to see the content on the front, and then schema is the content on the back. So I like to take advantage of it.
One more comment too, Rick, for you. One thing that, for me, one of the biggest points of using any type of schema is to get star ratings. Okay, so what I would do if you have multiple elements on your page like that, kind of ask yourself the question, if I want someone to rate something on this particular page, whether it be the Google, the video, the map, or the podcast, what's the most important thing to rate? I would mark up that schema with the most importance and put the aggregate rating on that item. So for instance, in this one, what I'm rating is a product on this particular page. On the other one that we were showing you, this one, okay, how to make money, or here, let me show you the page, how to buy Bitcoin in Canada. Okay, this URL, all I'm trying to do here is rank for keywords for people that want to buy cryptocurrencies, but they reside in Canada. what's the most important thing to mark up on this page for me? Well, really all that's here is an article. So I put an aggregate rating on the actual article, and I end up ranking in Google. Like if I go to home, put a site search on this, okay, I get the listing on for an aggregate rating of the article, because that was really the only opportunity I had on that particular page to get a rating. So keep that in mind when you're choosing what on the page you want to mark up. Get the star ratings.
Somebody asked, do I use the meta description on my page for the schema description? No, I actually use difference. And, you know, again, I want to be able to tell the same thing the page is about, but be able to use the different keywords. Or a lot of people, you know, a lot of people laugh about the LSI keywords, but I'm a big believer in them. So, you know, it just gives me more opportunity to put my keyword and tell what the page is about. So I definitely make them different than the meta. Same with titles.
How would you approach schema for an article or news website with lots of articles and posts? Schema per post?
You know, the news articles are tough, just because, you know, I think the benefits of news articles is to, each page stand on its own. What is this article about? And then the schema should be about that article. It's a lot of work. It's, you know, I mean, we've got a site that's close to 600 pages. So, you know, it took us close to about 5 weeks to get the schema all finished up for that big a site. So, and that's not even a real big site, not compared to a news site. But, you know, I would definitely do some default schema on every page. Maybe about what the genre of the news is. I don't know what the different topics would be. I don't know. It's a tough question, but I think unless you're doing it per page, then you're really not at least using it to its full potential. You know, and I think that especially the aggregate rating part, you know, you want to try to get that in there somewhere, but maybe that's not an issue with the news site. So I'm not sure. We don't do many of them at all.
Here's one way to answer that question another way, Terry. Like anytime that you need to reuse a lot of stuff and just change it, there is a duplicate feature. Okay, so for instance, here's a news article schema. Okay, all I would have to do really is fill this out kind of generally, set up the aggregate rating for it, and then save it. Okay, and let's just say, like for instance, I had saved it. So here's an article. It's not news article, but it's an article. Okay, here's my article schemas. Let's say, okay, this one's, I called it solid because it's solid schema. It's tested on a page. It's error free. I can reuse this, right? So let's say I wrote a new article and I wanted to quickly get it into how to make money with Bitcoin. Here's what I would do. I would load solid schema. I would move it over to the group. So let's say I wrote a new article on, I don't know, like ICOs, okay, initial coin offerings. So where I'm going to save this copy is in the site that it's going to go to. It's just how to make money. So there, okay. And then we'll just save it first, okay. So I just created a copy of it and moved it over to, actually I forgot to duplicate it, so it just renamed it and moved it. Yeah, let me do this again for you. I'll do it backwards this time though. So here's my article. There's my solid schema, but I moved it. So what I'm gonna do is duplicate it, because this is what I should have done at first. Okay, so you duplicate it first. Okay, there's my duplicate schema. Now I'm gonna move this schema back to where it belongs because it's my default schema. So I'm gonna call it solid again. And then I'm gonna put that back in my MISC folder. Okay, so now here's my MISC folder. There's my solid schema, but the copy of that schema is now over here called ICO. All I have to do, because it's duplicated, saved, and then moved into the place it's gonna go, load it up, press the eyeball button so that I'm only working with the shit that has items filled in, change the information to what's relevant to the new article, and then assign it to the page. That'll cut your work down like massively, because the schema structure is typically the hardest thing to choose and to build when you're building schema. But if you have something that's working somewhere really, really well, duplicate the structure, change the entries, save it, and assign it to the pages. That will literally take like 1 or 2 minutes per page, tops, depending on how big your schema is, right? And it's just a fast way to do things. Paul, are you really having that good of luck with Aveda? Yes, I love Aveda. You used to, but they keep breaking the sites. I don't really have that many issues with Aveda. And you switched to Divi for that reason. I actually switched away from Divi to Aveda because I don't like that Divi, when you build a post or a page in Divi and you use the Divi builder, all the content saves into their elements. So if you switch the theme, you lose the content. So you actually have to rebuild out of the Divi theme if you choose to move away, and that's the main reason I left Divi. I did like it, but I don't like the permanency of it.
Yeah, we do Divi conversions.
Yeah, they're a pain in the ass.
Huge.
Is this being recorded? It doesn't matter, you left. Yes, we always record.
Can you guys suggest a best practice for SEO for AI? I don't know. We just had Uber just hit somebody in Tempe here with their driverless car last night. So I don't know how much AI is working right now.
I think SEO optimization is SEO optimization either way you look at it.
Yeah.
You optimize your posts, you optimize your pages, and Google does the rest. What's my license key? No. Oh, Troy. Okay, so he meant, what do you mean by static when you do a redirect? A static page is basically just a page that exists. So for instance, if we go into, let's go to my pages here. Okay. Let's say I had a category page, then I would redirect that category page to one of these pages because these are all static pages, meaning they're there, they exist, they're not moving anywhere. Whereas a category page, typically, if I add a new page to that category, the category page will update itself with the new entry. So it's kind of a dynamic based WordPress page, meaning it updates as you update the category, whereas the static page always stays the same until you add a change to the actual page itself.
Okay. Have you tested Schema on affiliate sites? And if yes, do you have any tips? Biggest thing on affiliate sites is, yes, we've tested it. It works. Product, brand, review schemas are powerful for affiliate sites. And then, of course, having a main schema of what the topic or whatever the product is that you're doing for the affiliate. But again, yeah, brand, product, and reviews are real big. But of course, don't put a review schema on a page if you don't have the actual review on the page. So please remember that.
Here's an example of an affiliate page, guys, on that site. Okay, BitClub Network review. This is an affiliate site promoting that BitClub Network. Even though I don't recommend it anymore, I just left the page up for training purposes now. If you guys want to see the schema of this, once again, we do have the duplicator, right? You can actually take this URL and run it through the duplicator, and I'll show you this, okay? So once you have a URL that you like, so say you did BitClub Network review, you saw an entry that was ranking number 2, it had stars, and you're like, ooh, that's exactly what I want their schema. Grab the URL, come back to your schema builder in V3, click on the duplicator button, enter the URL of the website that you want to grab the schema from. Okay, give it a name. We'll call it Abracadabra, but I'll just short form it and call it Abra. And we'll save it to whatever site you want to put it on. We'll just, for now, I'll save it in the miscellaneous group. Then I'm going to run the duplicator, and it's going to go and see, okay, what type of schema do they have on that page and how many entries. So obviously I'm using product schema. I can proceed with the duplication of that schema of that URL. Okay, now I can go into my miscellaneous folder, into my product schemas. There's Abra. Okay, and we can see we have aggregate rating, brand, and review. And then if I want to look at the overall thing, I can render the schema, and you can see it's quite a big schema entry, but it is, there are reviews, that's why they're showing up. But there's the structure of that particular schema review, and you can literally grab that structure and quickly duplicate it. Or you could do it in the the Google structured data tool, but it's just nice to run the duplicator right into where you're actually going to start assigning shit from. Yeah, Rich, I like the duplicator too. It's fast. It's good.
Yeah, it's a pretty neat tool. Love it.
I mean, you guys should be thinking about stealing schema off myself. When I'm showing certain pages on these webinars that are having results, feel free to grab the URL and duplicate that schema into your own sites. Just make sure you're changing the content to be relevant to whatever it is that you have on your page. Otherwise, you're going to confuse the shit out of Google with a page that's about Eskimo mittens and then your schema is about Bitcoin. Just make sure it's relevant.
Hey, stay out of my niche.
You can also steal mine too, but I expect you to stay on my site for at least 15 minutes and click 3 times.
They'll probably leave it open in another window, which is good for that reason.
Yeah, exactly.
Rick, one problem you have for some of your own websites that don't rank is knowing what to try and rank. For example, community funding strategies for nonprofit organizations. How can I use PS to work out the best schema and keyword to go for? Okay, there's a difference between the best schema to use and the best keywords to go for. They're two different things. And Terry's kind of already touched on, you know, how do I choose what type of schema to use? And it's really based on a per page basis or an individual post basis. Like you have to look at this particular post, or if this is what your website's about, like your whole website's about community funding strategies, it's fine to build a default schema for that and apply it to every page. But if you have a certain page that's about that topic, say on an authority site, where on other pages you're targeting other types of topics, you have to make that decision. Is this going to be a schema that encompasses all the subject matter of my site, or does this individual page have such topical relevant content that's specific to this page that I should build a schema specifically for that page? So keep that in mind. And then for keywords, it's just a keyword research item, Rick, where you would either use the keyword planner, the project planner with the keyword tool, or you use any other keyword research tool for that market. The other thing you could do is put the main keyword that you think you want to rank for into Google and go look at the other websites and see what kind of keywords they have that you would like to be ranking for, and just doing keyword research in that kind of process. Natalie, Terry, I'd like you to look at my niche and tell me the best schema for that niche. You know, hang on, don't answer that, Nat. One thing, that's a crutch, Natalie, to be honest with you, okay? Having someone look at your site and say, this is what you should be using is a crutch. It doesn't do anything for your education. You know what I mean? Like, you should be checking the webbies out, you know, and I know you are. I know you're on every webinar and stuff like that, but the ultimate goal here is for you to look at a site, understand what it's about, or look at a page, understand what it's about, and then research what the best type of schema for that would be. So if you're selling, you know, oak frame buildings, it depends what you're selling. Like, is your site a brand? You know what I mean? Maybe do you want to use a brand schema, or are you, you know, obviously an organization? Are you in sales? Think of keywords that you are and type it into the schema search box, right? And then you can read what it's for. So like for brand, load brand, and a brand name is used by an organization or a business person for labeling a product group or similar, right? So like, make sure you guys are reading these descriptions of what these schemas are for to see if it's relevant to your situation. Now, Terry, if you want to tell Natalie what her best schema type is, that's up to you, but I do want to always push you guys to be educating yourselves and just losing the crutches.
Yeah, and just, you know, be creative too. I mean, you know, understand that, you know, you want to set yourself off, you know, away from somebody else. So, you know, although I love the duplicator, you know, you need to change it and personalize it and maybe make it a little bit different. You know, I'm a big fan of using brand schema on almost every single website. I'm a big fan of using professional service. I'm a big fan of using the very broad terms for your default, because it gives you so many different variables within the inside pages and posts. So, yeah, I mean, it's you know, you definitely need to learn it. You definitely need to, you know, be relevant in your whole system that you're doing for schema. And and use it as another tool, but also don't abuse it, because you will get dinged. And it's one of those things that almost every time people contact me to find out why they got into penalty, it's typically because of the review schema, the overuse of it, or it's typically because they're trying to be something that the website is not. And so you got to be careful with that. Obviously, if you're a dentist and you want to go out and think that you're maybe that's a wrong example. Maybe you're a roofer, now you want to go out and be a HVAC company. You're going to have a hard time convincing Google, just because you have that different schema on a few pages, that that's what you do. So, just kind of remember, again, each page stands on its own, but you still have a broad spectrum of where Google has placed your website into what category. And you want to make sure that you stay within that. Otherwise, your rankings are going to get killed.
Just looking through questions here, guys. Can I post the name of the theme? Yeah, 1 sec. You're talking about Aveda, right? I'm assuming Avada. Just Google it, Aveda. There it is right there, Aveda theme. That's what, guys, all the Project Supremacy sites, like the main pages, like the ServTech site, Project Supremacy version 2 site, the Project Supremacy version 3 site, they're all built with Aveda theme. And this one is built with Divi theme. This Bitcoin site's built with Divi theme, but I need Terry to do one of those conversions for me, because I just loathe Divi now.
Yeah, it's a pain. So, the reason why we like Aveda so much is we've learned how to do whatever we need to do within it. So we do a lot of software development, and Aveda is a great platform for that. So we've just had a lot of luck with it. It crawls nicely for the search engines, which I think is the most important thing. And of course, it works great with PS, all the Project Supremacy, AMP, everything. All the Todd and Herc products.
Yeah, and Aveda's like, there is a bit of a learning curve to it, but once you got it, to me, it's a lot like the Project Planner. For a lot of you guys, when you first looked at the Project Planner, or even the Schema Builder, actually, the Schema Builder is the perfect example. When people first saw the V3 Schema Builder, it was like absolute chaos. Everyone was like, what the fuck, this is nothing like V2, and it's crazy. I don't even understand it. And we just hammered on people, teaching them again and again and again and again how to use it. But now the people that get how to use it realize it's so fast and it's so easy and it's so well thought out and good. And I find Aveda's like that. It's a little bit of a learning curve, but once you understand how to use it, you can get things done just so much faster with the features that Aveda has. That's my opinion of it. Anyways, I don't know. Some people probably think it sucks, but everybody's got an opinion, right? James, if I were to use an existing article, duplicate content that currently does not have schema, and I add schema to the article on my site, would the added schema allow my version of the article to rank higher than the original? I'll let you answer that one, Terry. I think it's like duplicate content, one with schema, one without.
Yeah, and it's apples to apples. No, you won't. Basically, just because of the age of the content. So, if you change it up, if you add 30% more to it and then add your schema, sure. But you just, I don't know, the whole duplicate content thing is, within your own site, I think it's okay. But I think when you're taking somebody else's content, you stand the risk of, not only not ranking for that content, especially if it's older content, but it's just so much easier to put an introductory paragraph in front of it, put a closing paragraph behind it, give the person credit, add schema, and rank it. I mean, so it doesn't take much more to modify something to at least give that person credit at the same time you're going to outrank their own article. We do it all the time in the air conditioning business.
Rick, I'm sure this is for Terry. When you say you are a big fan of using default schemas, I presume you put them on a home page and mark them site-wide.
I do. And then I go into each page individually after that, and I modify the schema for that page. It just saves me time. especially if I'm working on something. You know, if I typically, when I take a site live, I'll go ahead and put a maintenance screen up, and it might take me a few days to get the schema all worked out because we don't work on the schema on our temp servers. So depending on how large a site is, and we try to prepare, you know, saying, you know, we always try to make sure that we're prepared for the schema. We call it the schema load when we go live with a new site. And then, but we still go in and we touch every single individual page. We'll delete schema on pages we don't want it on, which is like terms of service, contact, you know, free quote, you know, all the pages that we don't want to waste our. Another thing about schema that we want to make sure is that we don't increase our budget from our Google crawl budget. So again, delete it off the pages that you don't even want it to be on. But I do think it's important on the front page. Yeah, it's true. You'll never get your aggregate ratings to show up, but I do think it's, I think it's one of the most important pages, obviously, to show Google what you are, what you're about, and how you're different than your competitors.
Yeah, and for that homepage, I mean, you can literally, you can provide the aggregate rating, then mark it site-wide, then go back to the homepage and remove the aggregate rating bit off the homepage because it's pretty much useless anyways.
Exactly.
Bob, forgot the number of credits for keyword used in Project Planner. Is that per month or total when you run it? It is per month. You're scraping credits and your competition metric credits. So these guys in the Project Planner. Okay, so they're loading up here. Okay, so you can see this is how many keywords you can scrape until the end of the month. And scraping keywords basically means scraping the metrics, like the broad match, the URL or the in title and the in URL match and the phrase match. So if I actually load a project here to kind of show you. Okay, so there's two types of scrapes here. One is going to get you the volume in the CPC, like the search volume and the AdWords cost per click. That's this little rocket ship right here, the volume in CPC. That's your monthly scrape volume. The nice thing about these guys, this data is straight from the AdWords API. So it's a lot of people that use the AdWords tool and get those ranges can use the Project Planner and actually get the actual number because we are hooked into the Google API. But we also don't want to abuse that API too much because we don't want Google to take it away from us. And if they take it away from us, we're going to have to move to like SEMrush data or something like that. So we do limit that as a per month. Most people that bought this, I believe you're on a 1,500 keywords per month. But we do have the store coming where you'll be able to up that. You'll be able to up those limits through like $5 purchases, or like it steps up in increments of I believe 1,000 per month at a $5 per month cost for an extra 1,000. I think that's what it is. That store should be coming really, really soon though. Let's see if I can load that up just to give you a demo of that. Natalie used to be on page 1 for years. Obviously didn't do much as I was working in the biz. You dropped to page bugger all a while ago. I appreciate all the help. I will have never built a site again without V3. It's so clean. I appreciate the response and help. You guys know I'm all on a learning curve. I don't think the learning curve ever really ends, Nat. I mean, that should be the goal, is like seek to continue learning. I mean, I know I still learn a ton off a lot of people out there, right? Like I don't know everything. I definitely don't know everything. I think there's so much you can always learn. But I'm glad to hear that you put PSv3 on every site. Here's that shop, guys. Okay, it's not in your thing yet. This is our development side, but here's the shop. So if you want to buy more volume and CPC credits, this is coming soon. You'll be able to, yeah, it's $5 per month per 1,000, and you can buy as many as you want. So if you want to add like 4,000 searches, it's $20 per month, or you could switch to annual and save a few bucks. But that's going to also apply to competition metrics. Those are cheaper. No, they're the same price actually. Rank tracking, sub accounts, and the amount of websites that you want to manage will all be modularized. You guys can like completely custom build a plan based on those elements pretty soon if you want to buy more of one thing or the other. Is Aveda better than Thrive themes, especially for marketing? Thrive's actually pretty good. I mean, hurtmagnus.com is run on Thrive. I'm just so used to using Aveda now that I just love it. But Thrive is pretty good though. I don't really have any complaints with it.
We have some sites on Thrive. It's okay. It's one of the ones we do recommend, you know, besides Aveda.
Yeah, I would definitely say if you're not going to get Aveda, get Thrive. Paul Boyce, Divi Solution. Use child themes and use Divi Cloud, aka layouts cloud. Can't beat a single build. Load it to a cloud and download a page that works. Clone to any other site anywhere. Thank you. I don't even really know what that's for.
See, what is your preferred method tools to figure out if a client site has a Google penalty? Google Webmaster Tools or Google Search Console. If it's not in there, you could be placed back in sandboxes. You could be, there's all kinds of things that can happen if you were at the top and now you're not. That you know, unless they tell you in Webmasters or Search Console, then you know you're officially not in a Google penalty. But Google still plays games. Change your title tag on your homepage and then see how that works out for you.
I think too, specifically figuring out, Google Webmaster Tools is figuring out what the penalty might be, but to figure out if you're penalized is pretty easy. I've always shown it like this. Like if we take a site like, I don't know, TaxGaga. Okay, obviously you want to see if it's indexed. Okay, if it's indexed, the next thing you want to do is search for the domain with the .com extension. So what you're actually searching for is the actual site with the extension, right? And at this point, if you don't show up first, okay, there's a problem. You're definitely penalized. The next step is remove the period from the .com. So what you're searching for is kind of a keyword with a com. Okay, and you can see I'm still showing up number 1 here, number 2, number 3. That's good. Then remove the com, and now you're into a pure keyword research of the actual domain itself. Okay, I'm still showing up number 1, so I'm very, very healthy. Google's not penalizing this site in any way. Okay, but other sites, let's see, 256b.com. Well, it's not even indexed, but you'll see as you go through that process, if you drop off as you're doing those searches, so say 256b was indexed, but then I got to the point where I searched for 256b and com, and it didn't show up like first, or maybe it was on page 2, there's probably a penalty on it because that's such a unique phrase that you should show up first for it. But if you're not, there's likely a penalty on it. And that's at least one quick way to give yourself an idea if you're penalized. If you are, finding out why is probably you're going to have to go into Google Webmaster Tools itself. Okay, Alex, this is a long question. I'll just read this out. You're having the following primary question. You have several ST builds. This is a Project Supremacy webinar, by the way, just saying so. You got a bunch of SERP tech site builds coming in from different angles to promote several different front-end products of the same brand. From other webinars, we have learned to set up fantasy names for the site identity in order not to appear scammy or spammy. But when selecting schemas that go deeper in their children schemas than brand or schema, like organization, person, dress, product, I am creating the joinder, I don't know what that is, between all builds, sites, same brand, same area domain, just different domain extensions. Doesn't using these deep schemas lead back to the same address? And okay, if I understand your question correctly, which I'm not 100% sure I do, let me load a schema and give you an example. So you're saying if I use the same schema and copy and clone it over, but I change the info and clone it over to another site, will that flag you? Okay, and I'll remind you guys, you didn't use the word footprint, but you're kind of leaning towards the word footprint here. A footprint isn't just a pattern. It's a pattern which exists against the terms of service of Google. Okay, that's a very important point when people are looking at footprint. A lot of people think of footprint as just using the same 5 plugins on 100 sites. Yes, it's a pattern, okay? But are you doing anything wrong with those sites? If you're not, then it's not really a footprint, it's just a pattern. A footprint means you're doing something against the Google terms of service that is easily patternable. So if one site gets found out, so for instance, if you were spamming schema aggregate ratings across an entire site, or I don't know, maybe something like that, and you did the exact same schema site to site to site to site to site, but it was against Google TOS, and they find one site and then they find a relationship of that one site to the other sites, yes, they'll wipe out the entire network of sites. But why are they doing it? Because you have something that's against the TOS, right? That's why people say to me all the time, they're like, isn't using Project Supremacy a footprint? Well, if using Project Supremacy is a footprint, then using Yoast is equally a footprint. But everybody, there's millions of installs of Yoast, right? But people aren't getting de-indexed just because they're using Yoast. So keep that in mind. Footprint means a pattern against the Google terms of service. Now to answer your other question, if you're copying schema from site to site to site, so say this was the schema, if you just copied everything over and you had something like a URL image, then yeah, unless you update everything to be relevant to the same domain that the schema is existing on, then you're doing things a little bit wrong, and there is a pattern here. You know what I mean? Like if I'm saying my offer or my image URL is from how do I back up my iPhone, I copy the schema over to another site and it's got the same entry, then yeah, that's not the best thing to do. You want to be specific to the site that you're on with your schema. That doesn't mean you can't copy the structure of the schema site to site to site to site, because you absolutely can. It just means make sure you are updating your schema entries to be specific to that site. Hopefully that answers your question, Alex, does it? Okay, so you're saying, so things like same person, same product, same brand on various sites. So like me being an author, but I manage different sites. I don't have data on it, but I don't think that that would be too much of an issue. I mean, it's totally, think about what you're doing and whether, you know, is it right or is it wrong in Google's eyes? Like if I'm the author on 3 different blogs and each of those blogs are marking me up as the author, does that automatically mean that it's against Google terms of service or that I'm spamming? No. I mean, it's totally irrelevant and possible situation that I could be the same author across a bunch of different blogs, right? Just remember the TOS of Google. Are you breaking the TOS of Google? I don't know, Terry, what would you say about being the same author or the same product across, like say you had 2 websites promoting the same product, and on one you have schema for that product and in the other you have schema for that product. I just don't see a problem with it.
Yeah, I don't see a problem with it. We do it all the time. So
now, if you hooked up a bunch of PBNs to both of those and they both had the same schema and Google found one of the PBNs, yeah, then okay, there's a problem. Why? Why is that a problem, but the other situation isn't? Because you got found out that you're using PBNs. PBNs are against TOS.
Anything you do is TOS if it's to promote ranking.
Pretty much.
Just got into a debate with somebody about that very thing.
I mean, if you think about it, guys, like it's not against TOS to optimize your pages for a keyword, right? It's not against TOS for me to say, okay, how to mine Bitcoins here, how to mine Bitcoins here, and how to mine Bitcoins here. That's not against Google terms of service, but what it is against is an over optimization penalty, which is not really a TOS item. It's just Google being like, okay, retard, like we can tell that you're trying to optimize for that keyword, and because of that, you're gonna get a penalty. Which meaning over optimization, which also happens when you're building anchor text from your PBNs or from all your sites, whatever. If you're over optimizing the same anchor text again and again and again, that's not natural. That's probably not going to occur naturally in the world. Remember, Google's ideal situation, okay, to rank a site is that you build the site, you just put whatever on it, and then people actually like it, they socially like it, they talk about it socially, they start linking to it, but they're going to link to it with all kinds of it's going to be chaotic, right? There'll be some organization that evolves out of the massive information that happens, and that's how Google will determine what your site is about. But if you tweak that, and that's really what we do as SEOs, we tweak those elements, we tweak our on-page optimization, and we tweak our anchor text profiles and stuff like that, so that we can kind of gently guide Google towards an understanding of what our site's about. But if we do it too aggressively, then it's like, no, that's not real. So just kind of keep chaos in mind. Chaos is good. It was the natural ideal of Google, is for things to just happen naturally and chaotically.
Potential, let's see, sales question. Potential client has been penalized by Google. Should I sell them a new website, i.e. them using Project Supremacy, and they don't need the sketchy bad SEO vendors that they would benefit from this. I'll let you answer that one.
That was that RR? I didn't quite hear when you were reading it. Is that sales question? So if a potential client, is that the one?
Yes, RR.
Okay, I'll just read that out loud, a little louder, guys. Sales question: if a potential client has been penalized by Google, should I sell them a new website done using Project Supremacy? Then they don't need to use sketchy bad SEO vendors, as they would benefit from clean schema. Well, you could do that. You could, I mean, as a salesperson, you could sell whatever you want. You could sell a big old package like this. Look, here, I'm going to do two things for you while I'm cleaning up and charging you to clean up your SEO on your existing site. I'm going to build you another one that's completely clean and backlink it to you, and that's going to be, you know, $3 or $4 or $5 grand a month for both. Or we could say, look, I'll just build you a clean new site. We'll start over, and that's going to be $3 grand a month. Or listen, I can do a detox on your site and help you figure out why you got penalized, and we'll repair that penalty. It's really up to you. It's really up to your client. I would say provide options and let the client choose, but it's up to you. There's no right or wrong answer there.
And it's actually getting easier to get a site out of penalty now than it definitely used to be.
Yeah, like this Bitcoin site, I've shown it on so many webinars now that it actually got negative SEO'd really hard. And I'm already, I would say 70% recovered from that negative SEO just using the link detox and the disavow tool. So there's another keyword for you guys if you want to figure out how to disavow a site. Penalty. I forget. Oh, maybe that was the last webinar, and Bob's notes aren't up to date on that yet. Or I haven't. Bob's notes are up to date. I just haven't uploaded it yet. But yeah, you can look up penalty recovery in some of the past webinars as well. Any more questions, guys? We're at like an hour and 15 minutes here, so we're not going to ask a whole bunch of times for questions, but I'll give you some time to type them in.
Well, this is a really great product, guys. I mean, I'll tell you what, this thing is, it's completely changed. When PSv3 came out, we jumped in with both feet, and it completely changed our agency. So pay attention to what these guys do. It's amazing. And the biggest thing is just get excited when your competitors have Yoast. That's all I can say.
And Herc doesn't suck.
Yeah, exactly.
Joy, where are the sites managed by PS hosted? That's up to you. We don't care where you host your site. Well, we do a little bit, to be honest, because our plugin starts getting all cranky when you try to install it on a shitty host. But if we look at something like this, Joy, okay, you could see that I have 178 websites loaded in my dashboard, okay? But one of the things I always do whenever I add a new site, I tag that site. I want to know what type of site it is, where it's hosted, and where it's registered, right? So if you look at my list of tags, I'm hosting. The blue ones are hosts, the green ones are registrars, and the orange ones are the type of site. I always apply those 3 tags to every site. You can see I have hosting all over the place. I also have registrars all over the place. And then say, for instance, if I only want to look at stuff that's hosted with easy blog networks, that's why we built tags Okay, I can tag it by, oh, that's expert web host. If I only want to work on sites that are hosted on easy blog networks, I just supply that tag and it filters out only these sites. So all these sites are EBN, PBN on EBN, and this one's at name.com, this one's on phoenix.com, this one's name, okay? So the hosting doesn't matter, meaning you can host anywhere you want, provided it's up to date. Otherwise, Project Supremacy is going to be like, no, I won't install myself on a shitty site. Kath, is anyone using Genesis framework anymore? I'm sure some people are. I'm not.
Yeah, I'm not. And my tip, but we do a lot of malware cleanup, and like we have 2 rules when we clean up a website: is 1, change hosts immediately, and then 2, yeah, look at doing a new theme of whatever you had before. Hacking can be really nasty depending on how long it's been hacked. So all 3 of us, Herc, Todd, and I, have all been hacked. So it happens to everybody.
I've been hacked so much. I'll tell you this though, guys, the bad shit that happens to me or the inefficiencies that I have in my business are what creates tools like Project Supremacy. Like you guys all know that version 1 of Project Supremacy was literally just the project planner, and I gave it away for free, but it was nowhere near this good. And then we wanted to add Schema into it, and that created version 2. But the problem with version 2 is that every time you loaded a new site, you had to install the plugin, add your API keys, do this and this. And I was like, man, why don't we just build like a central dashboard where it injects everything into the sites? And then all of a sudden, V3 became a WordPress manager. Then I got hacked, and I was pissed off about the manual process I had to go through with restoring sites. So then we added backups to it, and then we added the WP Rescue, the Rescue Center to it, so I could easily restore core WordPress files. So, I mean, problems are my fruit basket. You know what I mean? The more problems and the more inefficiencies I run into, the better Project Supremacy gets. And I always look at, I made a big post the other day about how if you don't have problems, it's because you're not on the right path. You're not working hard enough. The more problems you got, the better you're doing. And the more you're going to learn, the better you're going to become. And this product is a complete reflection of inefficiencies and problems and a tool built to solve those.
Yep, the higher you rank, the more you get attacked.
Sure. Bruce, why do you have so many different hosts? I'll let you guess at the answer of that, Bruce. And then I'll tell you after I see what your guess is, but I'm pretty sure you should know why I have so many hosts. What the hell is this? You can, weird.
Oh yeah, sorry, I clicked the button.
Oh. Yeah, exactly, Bruce, PBNs. I don't host all my PBNs on one host. What's my next big problem coming? Actually, it's going to be PBN management through Project Supremacy V3. So link management, where I think we might even discuss being able to set up like link sharing from user to user. So if I have sites tagged PBN and you have sites tagged PBN and we have similar metrics, we'll start allowing link trades inside of your dashboard. Tracking link management for your PBNs, like when did you build your link, what position were you at, where are you at now, stuff like that. But with EBN, you already have a lot of hosts in one place. Yeah, there's some hosts where I'm more comfortable hosting a lot of sites. That's because they have a really good IP pool diversification. And really, guys, sites like EBN, they're not even actually a hosting company. What they are is a middleman between hosting companies. So they actually have a lot of different hosts all over the place on different Class C IPs all over the world. And they're just they're another dashboard to help you manage PBNs in many different places. So there are instances where, yes, it looks like I'm hosting with EBN, but I'm not actually. EBN's hosting my sites. They're dashboarding my hosting all over the place for me. So I like EBN. Herc, what is the SS parent tag for? It's a Spider Spanker parent tag. So I put Spider Spanker on all my sites. And one of the features of Spider Spanker is that you can share out your settings to other sites that have also Spider Spanker with them. So I chose one of my PBN sites as my kind of my parent, that if I make any changes or updates to, I update that site's Spider Spanker settings only. And then I share the settings across my entire network of sites. So just as a reminder, because I have a lot of PBNs, I tag that parent site as SS parent.
All right.
PBN's easy blog.
Run, Herc. Anybody else got anything for me? Anybody there?
Oh my God, I just spoke for like 12 minutes and I was on mute.
I'm sitting here. I'm sitting there going, anybody there? Anybody home?
No, I was just saying thanks for coming on, Terry, and nice to hear your voice again, JC. And if you guys want to ask Terry more questions, he's very active in the group. He's very helpful in the group as well. So give Terry a big thank you in the chat box, and we'll let him and JC finish their, I'm sure they're drinking whiskey or something crazy like that right now.
No way. Typical SEOs. Yeah, you guys, anytime I can help you guys, reach out to me. I love helping you guys, and or me, or JC. So yeah, we're here for you guys, and thanks for having us on. And look forward to doing more of these, and maybe next time you can see me do a schema markup or something. So see
over the shoulder Terry building schema.
Yeah, that'd be fun. So anyways, guys, have a great day, and thanks for having me.
All right, thanks, guys. Everybody else, I'll stay on here. I see there's a few more questions. Where do you guys like buying domains these days? I actually put a post in the Project Supremacy group on Facebook. Search the group for PBN. Actually, I'll put the link to the post. This is it right here. So I'll give you guys the link to this post. This is Patrick, and his company Search Champion is awesome. He's great. He'll do either PBN, he'll just sell you the PBNs, or he'll set them up for you as well. Like you can buy domains or actually set up PBNs from him. And he's real good. He's got a lot of great domains. Okay, there's that link for you guys to the Facebook group chat. Rick, can you explain what Spider Spanker is? Just Google it, Spider Spanker. This is not really Spider Spanker Webby, so I don't want to go too much into detail, but basically I'm just hiding my PBNs from bots like Majestic, Ahrefs, and as well as people. I don't want, if people know what my PBN URL is, Spider Spanker helps show a 404 page to them instead of them actually spying on my shit. No, I don't put Spider Spanker on money sites, just my PBNs. I think some people put them on their money sites, but I don't. Real-time site traffic tracking on PSv3 would be cool. Yeah, I mean, we could do that, Alex, but I mean, there's so many good free tools out there that are great at that it's, I don't know. I mean, there's a ton of shit we could add. Like, I mean, we even played around with like sitemaps before, and that just, I mean, Google XML sitemaps is free, and they're so ahead of the curve with building good sitemaps that I just like, you know what, you guys have it, take it away. And stat counting and shit like that is, or stats tracking. There's so many free trackers out there that's, I don't know if it's something that we're really going to get into. Well, we'll consider it, I guess. I don't know. You know, I'll tell you this thing too, guys. The more features we add, the harder this tool gets to sell for us. Like, we're actually struggling to sell this just because most people become overwhelmed when they look at it. They're like, oh my God, there's so much shit on there. I don't know what to do. You know what I mean? It's too much. I'll look at this later. So that's become a real challenge for us to try and describe what this plugin is or what the software is and how to sell it. We almost have to sell, you know, a single feature, and we are going to start doing this. We have to really sell a single feature of the plugin. Like, I have to just talk about the schema builder and try and sell the plugin for $37 a month just based on the schema builder alone, which I really do feel is worth it. And then what happens is if the user signs up and he's happy with the schema builder for $37 a month, once he realizes all the other features that he also has, then he's really, really happy. It's kind of one of those, you know, under promise and over deliver type scenarios. But yeah, like when we add too many features, it gets really, really difficult. I mean, I could not hold a webinar anymore and teach everybody all the features of PSv3 in a 2-hour webinar. It's no longer possible. It's just, it's not going to happen. Bruce, I'm going to answer that privately. No, okay, no, I won't. Yes, okay, we do have an affiliate program secretly open for Project Supremacy right now. To be honest with you, it is secretly open. So if you go to right here, guys, on the footer of the page, okay, we don't announce this, I will right now, but this affiliate link is now live and open. You do have to apply to be an affiliate. We're doing things slowly. So I'll just tell you that right now, and that's all I'll say about it. If you guys want to go rank for Project Supremacy and make some commissions, that'd be cool. Apply to the program, we'll have to approve you into it. Alex, the advantage of having traffic tracking would be the comfort of having it in the dashboard for all the sites without having to log into each site tracker. Yeah, there is definitely a huge advantage to that, I guess. But building a statistics program, okay, you have to remember everything we develop and every feature we develop, we kind of have to do cost analysis on it because it does cost more server resources, especially for the amount of users and websites that we're running. It starts costing us more money, but we don't want to continually upgrade the price of the tool, right? Because then we get to a point where it becomes like out of reach for a lot of people. So we really have to analyze the stuff that we want to add to it, and then if we have to charge for it or not. Because adding stats, I mean, there's development costs to this. We have 4 full-time developers developing our stuff for us, and that costs us a lot of money. But then it's also the running costs, like every site that we add to the network. We have 6 servers right now, which we're set up for a lot of growth. But I mean, if this thing goes bonkers, you know, and we get to like 5,000 users, we're gonna have to expand that. And that shit just isn't cheap. So we just have to be careful with the features that we add, do cost analysis. I guess the one thing we can do is add these features as a modularity. And if you want to add that module on, you can pay a certain amount for it, just like the keyword scraping or the keyword volume. We are building like small little $5, $10 packages that you can add on to increase the use of it. So, I mean, we could do it that way. So we'll check it out. We'll decide. Any more questions, guys? I'll take a quick vape here and wait for another question, or otherwise we'll end it, but I'll give you a minute. It's on the footer of the v3.project supremacy page, Alex. I got a question for you guys. Is there anybody on the webinar that doesn't have V3 yet? Give me a 1 if you don't have V3 yet. Do not own V3. I just want to see if there's new people coming on these webinars. Doesn't look like it. Because I'll give you a coupon if you do. But you have to tell me that you don't own it yet and you want the coupon. All right, there's one. Okay, guys. Use the coupon code duplicator. I'll put it on a sheet for you. Okay, and this is only going to be available. This one's going to be, we're running it now till March 31st till the end of the month. Let's make it nice and big. Okay, use that coupon code when you go to checkout, and that'll save you 50% off your first month on any package. Okay, well, let's not highlight everything. Let's not get crazy here. Jeez. Off, off, off. Okay, there you go. Ah, annoying. Okay, there you go. Okay. Herc, can you offer project automatically and your method can do it? Offer optimization. Can you offer project? I'm not sure what you mean, Ran. Can you just restate your question, just because I'm not quite sure what you mean? Bruce, Easter's coming. You got to prepare for a foot of snow. Yeah, I heard the East Coast is going to get hammered. We're finally melting. A good PBN diagram tool. would be a great add-on. You know what, for you guys that have suggestions or features that you want to add, could you post that in the Facebook group for me? And then if I really like it, we'll have to have a talk about it. Because Kevin, I mean, I don't know what your vision is there, just from you saying that sentence, but it sounds interesting. So I wouldn't mind hearing it out. So post it in the group and then just tag me in it. And that goes for anyone that has feature suggests. You know what, let's do this, guys. Let's go to Project Supremacy. Does everybody on this group, on the call, in the Project Supremacy group, by the way? Okay, if you're not, let me give you the link. There you go. Please join the group, and then I'm going to do this right now. There you go. Okay, feature suggestion thread. Post them here now, please. Okay, so you guys go into the group and tell me what you want in the plugin, and we'll work on stuff. We have a lot of shit on the way, of course, as well. You used to have V1 several years ago and then stopped. Yeah. You know, the funny thing about V1 is, like I said, V1 was just a project planner, and I think I had close to, well, it was over 1,000 users, but nobody used it. They just didn't really understand it, and I didn't do like weekly training webinars back then. So V1 was kind of, to be honest, was in one way a failure, because I mean, so many people downloaded it because I gave it away for free, and people just, when they see free, they grab it. But then they just put it on the shelf and don't use it. So all of a sudden you charge for it, and then they want to learn how to use it, right? So it's kind of funny how that worked out. But it's so much better now, anyways, than it was. Dale, keyword supremacy coupon, we don't have those, but what you can do is register for free for keyword supremacy from app.keywordsupremacy. And I'll tell you this, when you create this free account, it just gives you the ability to scrape keywords. None of the metrics, that's what the credits are for, but there's a timed offer that for 10 days to get like a really good discount on a big package of credits, and that should be all you really need for like a year. So there's no coupon there, but there's definitely an offer for a lot of credits. It's way cheaper than what's on the home page for keyword supremacy. Ran the boiler. Ran Moran, you're gonna have to restate your full question, please. A domain registration database add-on would be useful. Keep track of domains. We kind of already have that, to be honest. You just have to create the tag, right? Like, I know where all these are all registrars. So I know that like Lollipop Lustkill, it's registered at Phoenix. So I create a tag, I create a URL, and I just click on it. It takes me right to the login screen, right? And that's for you, Kevin Butler. And that's just creating the tag. So if you go into your managed tags, right, and you create a tag, you can name it anything you want, and then if you supply a URL, it will become clickable to that. So for my registrars and my hosting, I always link it straight to the login screen so that it's quick if I need to like go do something. Like here's name, so I'll just click on it. It takes me right to the name login screen. Newbie question, how many hours does it take to put up a site to promote affiliate offer? Well, that's kind of dependent on how good you are at what you do, right? Like how long is a piece of rope? Depends on how long the rope is. So, I mean, I could probably put up an affiliate site and promote an affiliate offer in a day or two, but I'm really good at WordPress. I really know what I'm doing. I know where everything is. I don't have to go searching for things. It's dependent on your level of experience. Natalie, when you have a project open, you can clean and scrape, but when you start a new suggest groups, it deletes all. Natalie, hit me up on Facebook. It sounds like an error. It must have been PSv2. You paid $75 per couples of months. PSv2 we did charge for, but $75. We never charged anything by sevens. It's always something that ends in 737, 67, 97. Ran, when you get the word at the cloud, if you can do it on auto to create an H1. So if that's a feature suggestion, would you mind putting it into There's already smart ass answers in here. Just put it in here, please. People want weather control. A weather app. Raph. Yeah, and then like if it's an idea, like try and, you know, the easiest way for me to understand things is like, tell me what you want, but tell me why you want it. Like, I'm doing this and I want to achieve this result, because then it just gives me the big picture of what it is. Like, just saying, can you make it so like there's an H1 on the word tag to create an H1? I mean, it's more important for me to know why you want that to happen than to what is to happen. And then if I understand why you want it to happen, then I might be able to develop something a little bit better. Because right now, what I will say about that, to create an H1 is as simple as a copy and paste, right? It's very, very fast. So for instance, I'll load this up. If I open up my keywords, my optimization, my keyword cloud, and my keywords, right? And then I click on Bitcoins, it highlights the Bitcoins. But if I want this as an H1, I mean, really, here's the H1, I just type in Bitcoins or copy and paste it in there. But remember, H1 shouldn't be just a keyword. It should be like a full sentence that has meaning and is optimized properly. And I've had lots of webinars where I talked about full optimization. And we're having another one on Thursday. The Thursday webinar, we haven't even mailed it yet to anyone, but what the Thursday webinar is basically gonna be for people who don't have V3. And we're gonna explain, you guys can still come on it, but it's basically going to be the 2018 best practices for optimizing a site. Okay, so this is it. We're going to go over these things because there's 4 sets to optimization: how to do keyword research, how to do on-page optimization, which is the old school method, how to do schema optimization, which is the new school method, and then how to do social optimization. I could even cover image optimization, really. But this webinar is going to be a sales webinar, guys. Just so you know, we're going to offer to sell V3 on it. But it's still going to cover good information if you guys want to come on it. And we're going to mail that out probably today or tomorrow. Okay, last chance for questions. This is going to be it. I'll take like 1 or 2 more and then we'll end it because we're kind of getting down to the nitty gritty here. I'll let you know in the email, Bruce. It'll probably be in the evening. Can you give a virtual assistant expert WordPress person a temporary disposable password, or is there another way to protect my account? Yeah, we have sub accounts in Project Supremacy. So if you go to your settings tab and then you go to your, it's right here, sub accounts. Okay, I can add a new sub account, and then let's just say username is going to be, you know, Charlie is our new VA, and Charlie's password is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then I can say, okay, I only want Charlie to be able to manage my PBNs. You can do this by tag. So I'll go PBN. So I only want Charlie to be able to manage my PBNs. So select that tag, there you go. Then, so Charlie will only see PBNs. And then I want to hide certain features from Charlie. I don't want Charlie messing with my backups, my rank tracking. He can't see my license. I don't want him to be able to download my plugin. But he can work on, you know, just basic website management. You can hide certain features and stuff from VA. So that's already all built in there. Keyword cloud is so great. It's a specific URL comparison cloud. Would be great. What do you mean a specific URL? Oh, like to do it. Well, I mean, there's tools out there, Nat, that you can just type in tag cloud, okay, on Google, and there's tons of them out there where you could just submit a URL and it'll give you a tag cloud and it includes all the content and shit like that, right? For our purposes, building a cloud that's based on a page, I mean, there's plugins and stuff that do that. Ours is for the reason our cloud's a little different, meaning this is the cloud of the keywords we want to target, not a cloud of all the words that are on our site. We're being a little bit more specific. Okay, guys, I'll probably end it with that. Once again, anyone that does want Project Supremacy, I'll leave it at this. Here's the site to go to get it. Okay. The coupon code is duplicator. That's good till March 13th, or March 31st, I should say, and it'll get you 50% off your first month. The shop is coming soon so that you guys can buy different things. If you want to give us some feature suggestions, please put your smart ass remarks on the feature suggestion box inside the group. And otherwise, I'll have the webinar replay uploaded latest by tomorrow, and we'll work on t-shirts too, Kevin. Work on some, do you even rank bro t-shirts? I'll mail it out, Kath. We haven't fully decided on a time yet, but that webinar on Thursday, we'll definitely email you guys and post it in the group as well. Sound good, everybody? I'm off to water my plants. We'll talk to you guys next week.